Yo, what's going on, y'all? It's a No Bullshit Podcast. If you're new here, welcome. If this isn't your first time, welcome back. It's Kai.
Yo, it's Coughlin.
And listen, man, it's been a while since we're on the football side of things.
Yep.
I believe our last video was reacting to our drafts,
hmm
which that video has been going crazy. So definitely appreciate the love on that. Um, but without further ado, we get right into the topic today. We're talking about Chargers 49ers, our record predictions. Um, what is a failure of a season, what is the success of a season, and everything else in between, right? So, you know, I'm gonna give it right to my man Conklin, man. Let's get into these predictions.
All right, man. So just getting right into it. We're just gonna go from week 1 to 18, and yeah. So starting off week 1, big game right off the bat. Monday Night Football primetime game. We go against at home against the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's gonna be a tough one, but I do think that we'll squeak out the win. Week 1. So we're starting off with 1-0. Week 2 we play at Minnesota. Um, I want to say that we win this one as well.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if JJ McCarthy is playing because he's a rookie QB. And I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure Shanahan has a stat where he never loses to a rookie QB or rookie head coach. So
Mm-hmm.
we'll start off 2-0. Then week 3 at the LA Rams, also known as Levi South. What's it called? I do think from that is our first loss. Uh, 2-1. Week 4, we play back at home against New England.
Mm-hmm.
That's a dub. That's a dub for sure. So we're
Another quarterback.
yeah, another rookie quarterback.
I win
So
those
right
games.
now at this point we are 3-1.
Mm-hmm.
So now we go to week 5. Week 5 we play at home again versus the Cardinals. I say that we still take the dub. I know that they drafted Marvin Harrison Jr. It's a bummer, see another divisional rival get a talent like that, but I
Yeah.
still think the Cardinals still have some ways to go on defense.
Yeah.
So I'll say that we take the W on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Then moving on to week 6, we play at Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
Thursday night football. Now this is Seattle. I guess like out of all the teams in my division, obviously I'm worrying about the Rams, of course, but Seattle is also a close second for me, just because it's Seattle. But the coach they hired was the first time I saw that he was able to like rattle Purdy, in a sense,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I think it's going to be very interesting. But I think that from that game, I think we do win it.
Okay.
So right now, by week 6, let me see, we are 5-1.
Five
Five
and
and
one.
one.
That's 2-1 in the division so far. That's big time.
Yep. And so now we head back home and we play Super Bowl rematch,
Mm-hmm.
Kansas City and the Niners. Um, as much as I want to say we win this one, I think that and honestly, do I care if we win this one or not? No, I really don't care if we do, because at the end of the day, it's not going to matter for what the trauma they've put in my fucking head. So,
Give me both, brother. I need it. Listen, I need you motherfuckers to win by like 80. I need y'all to like demoralize them and then hopefully they lose out the rest of their games.
yeah,
But week
but
8.
yeah, week 8, we got Dallas. Come on now, it's a Niners Dallas rivalry, Sunday night football. Got to win that one. Got to
Big
win that one. Put them in their place like they always are. Uh,
little
sorry,
brother.
Dallas. Then after that, week 9, we got a bye week. All right,
Mm-hmm.
bye week. So at the bye week, we are.
Middle of the
Uh,
year. That's great.
that's yeah. We are. Let's see. We are 5-2. Oh no, I'm tripping. 6-2. Sorry, 6-2. We have one loss to the Rams, one loss to the Chiefs. 6-2. So solid.
Okay.
I think it's
Yeah.
solid so far. Now you come off the bye. You play against at Tampa. That's a win. Week 11 we play home versus Seattle. I do think we sweep, but I think
Mm,
that these two
okay.
games that we play against Seattle, it's going to be a lot closer rather than blowouts as the past couple seasons.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I think it's a W against Seattle. Then we travel up to Green Bay, and that is another loss I think we have for us. during that time of the year it does get kind of cold. So I feel like it could be like a scheduled loss. So there's that. So now we play at Buffalo now, Sunday Night Football. Buffalo is an interesting team. I mean, or at least on paper for me.
Mm-hmm.
They lost a lot of guys on defense, a lot of corners, a lot of secondary players in general. They're rebuilding that defense because of contracts and age and everything, right? Which is warranted. So I do think that we do squeak by a win, but honestly I wouldn't be surprised if we lose that game because of how talented Josh Allen is. He always finds a
Yeah.
way to put the team on his back, right? So I do have us winning against them. Then this game, I have this circled, but and I'll get this into like another week. I mean another time, but coming back home playing against Chicago,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's something very interesting to see because especially this late into the season, who knows? Maybe Chicago might be fighting for a playoff spot. You never know,
Yeah.
right? They got a squad on offense for sure, man.
Mm-hmm.
Right, talking about three basically number ones at
Yeah.
receivers. Got a great tight end, great running backs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we got a great QB they drafted at number one, and that's Caleb Williams, right? But I I'm not saying that he's going to be bad, but I just got to see it to believe it. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
so yeah, I have us winning against Chicago. And then we play the Rams again, but it's Thursday night football. We lost earlier in the season, but I'll say that we split. I think that's fair to split with the Rams. So now we go down to other side of the country, going to Miami. That's the first time. It's basically the apprentice versus the actual professor and everything. So it's actually pretty cool to see that. But I do think we also win against Miami.
Okay.
And then this is a very big game, especially depending
Yeah.
on how the records are late in the season, and we play against Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
I actually have us losing this one.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because I just think that emergence of this Detroit team and the talent they added over this offseason, especially the defensive side, I
Yeah.
think they could have a potential. I think Detroit could potentially be a first seed, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Yeah. This
Right.
game could be for the first seed. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
100%.
And then finish off the season week 18 at Arizona. I have us winning. So by total of this, I have us going the same record we did this year, 13-4.
Mm-hmm.
So to say that my ceiling and floor, I think the ceiling is around 13-4, 14-3, more so 13 wins than 14. But I think the floor is no less than 11. I'd say
Okay.
anywhere from 11 to 13 wins. I think that's
Okay.
what our season's gonna be.
Yeah. I mean that's respectable, and I 100% agree. Um,
Mm.
I'm gonna ask you this question though, right?
Yeah.
And it's a little off topic, but like with Seattle, right?
Mm.
Do you think Geno Smith starts all the games? Do you think there's a chance that Sam Howell plays this season or no?
I will like to hope that Gino plays the rest of the way,
Okay.
but I do think I think me and you like we have this football group chat if you guys don't know, right, and we talk about like certain people that we think is underrated but are not in good situations, right, and I think we are us two at least are like the very few people that kind of do believe in Sam Howell in the
Hmm.
sense that like he was put in a situation in Washington where he did his best, right, but and I think at one point he led the league in like yards or
Yeah.
something like that, right? And but he was getting sacked every single time, right? But now you put him in a system in Seattle where they have weapons everywhere, and they definitely have better protection than
Oh yeah.
Washington, right? And so I think it kind of caters better to him, especially now they also have a running game
Hmm.
with Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet. So I'm scared about that point where it's like, and then people were saying that they should draft a QB here and there, right? But I think signing a guy like Sam Howell is probably one of the more underrated offseason moves because I
Yeah.
feel like, in my opinion, I feel like he's a starter in this league, right? Just that with young QBs, like what the media likes to do and like what other people like to do is like tear these young QBs down off of like one season or just like not caring about the situation,
Yeah.
right? That's the reason why that a lot of top end QBs don't play well because they draft in shitty positions, right?
Hell yeah,
Coaching does matter. You got to understand that,
100%.
right? And so, I think Sam Howell entering this situation, I think it's a great situation for him to succeed. And you know, I don't think Gino does. I'm gonna be honest. I think Sam Howell, if the first during the first 5 games, first 4 to 5 games, if Gino doesn't go like at least 500, he's getting benched, in my opinion.
Mm, mm.
Because
Yeah, yeah,
I think the talent of Sam Howell, he's gonna find a way.
yeah, yeah. That was the reason why I asked, because I can definitely see that happening, right? This Seattle team is a little weird, right? Like like they have talent across the board, right? But first time head coach. Um, so no, wait, who's their head coach right now?
Mike McDonald, the defensive coordinator of the Rams. I'm
Okay,
Ravens.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Ravens.
So
Yeah.
first time head coach.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's one of those things where it's like it's so much that can happen. It's either these guys can catch fire under that new coaching, or it'll take a little bit of time to adjust. But the expectations are, playoffs for Seattle. So if Gino is struggling, there was a reason why, the Seahawks pretty much stole Sam Howell from the Rams. Like, listen, they were
Yeah.
fighting over him, and it was a reason
Mm-hmm.
why. Like, when you look back at that draft class, and this was what I was saying like before the draft, and obviously looking back on it, Purdy is easily the best quarterback out of that draft.
Yeah.
Um, however, you know, Sam Howell, in my opinion, before Purdy hit the scene, I felt as though he was the most talented guy in that group,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like people were talking about, Kenny Pickett, people talking about, Malik Willis and all these guys, and I'm like, man, I just like Sam Howell. I love how he plays the game, and I 100% agree. I feel like situation matters. There's a reason why, a lot of great quarterbacks are later round picks to good teams, right? You know what I mean? Whether it's a Brady, whether it's a Purdy, whether it's
Mm-hmm.
or even a Russell Wilson, right?
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, their legacies range. I'm not saying all these players are the same, but there are similar situations, right? Lower draft pick, not a lot of expectations on a team that is well coached and have talent around them, right? So early on in their career, it's not, hey, rookie, go win us this game or else we're all getting fired. You know what I mean? Like, it's, listen, go out there and just do your job, play football, right? It makes it simple so that when these guys get older, and that if they've been in the league for a little bit, now you can start putting more and more onto their plate, right? So, I definitely feel as though that is definitely within the realm of possibility that, like, from the Seahawks perspective, if not only if they're not winning, but Gino is kind of regressing, I can definitely
Mm-hmm.
see them giving the young guns some play time.
Yeah, 100%, man. And I think it's a good time for talking about young guns. Talking about the Chargers, man, going through like a little mini rebuild, right? But they bring in Jim Harbaugh, who I know, and Niners fans, you guys know, he's a very close coach to our hearts. We love him, and we wish the best for you guys. But what do you think about your schedule, man?
Listen, man, before I get into all that, to all my Chargers fans, out there watching, who's got it better than us, right? So, you know, as we've talked about numerous times, Jim Harbaugh was my guy. There was nobody else I was really entertaining in terms of this head coach position besides Jim Harbaugh. I feel like we needed an adult, right? We needed a guy that knows NFL football, right? No more of these first time head coaches, no more of these, offensive or defensive gurus. Man, fuck that. Right? Like I like all respect to Sean McVay and the McDaniels of the world, right? But we needed a guy that could walk into this organization and that we trust, right? And listen, we had to swing for the fences. That's just how it is. If you want to win games in this league, you're gonna have to take chances. You're gonna have to swing big. And I feel as though it was Jim Harbaugh wanted to come here. We wanted Jim Harbaugh to come here. It was a match made in heaven, right? So, um, at least for me, I feel like automatically we have the second best coach in our division, and that is a big time advantage in terms of not only the division but the league in general. So Starting off week one, um, we season opener. We play the Raiders.
Hmm.
Fuck the Raiders. We whoop their ass, belt the ass.
Likewise.
Go 1-0. Week two, we go to I believe we're in Carolina. Let me see. Let me see. Hold on. Oh yeah. We go to Carolina.
Hmm.
I have us winning that game.
Okay.
I do believe Bryce Young is a lot better than a lot of people,
Oh
give him
yeah.
before.
Hmm.
But I feel like, we're just a more talented team. I feel like we're a better coach team already. So I feel like we start 2-0. Then this is a game I have circled. We on the road again. We're in Pittsburgh playing the Steelers. Um, real big time matchup.
Hmm.
The last time we matched up against the Steelers, it was fireworks. It was a great game.
Hmm.
And I have the Chargers squeaking out another win against them. We start 3-0. Then we come back home, right, and we play
Hmm.
the Evil Empire. You know, three championships, all this, and I feel like we
Hmm.
have this weird thing with the Chiefs where it's like they always beat us, but it's like it's weird. Like it's easier for them to beat us at home, and it's easier for us to
Hmm.
beat them on the road. It's really weird. Like
Yeah.
home field advantage does not fucking matter on both sides. Like it's weird. I have us dropping a game. So and then which is it's fucking bullshit. Yet again, we have a week 5 bye week. Early in the season, early bye week is
Yeah.
not great, right? Because then after your bye, you really have to go on a run.
Hmm.
So going into the bye week 5, we're sitting at 3-1. After the bye, we go on the road to Denver, play the Ponies. I have us whooping ass. We are now 4-1. We're on the road again now, going from fucking Denver to Arizona, right?
Hmm.
Um, we are playing the Cardinals. Last time we played the Cardinals, we had a comeback win. I believe we won on a 2-point conversion to Gerald
Yep.
Everett. So I
Hmm.
feel like we repeat history a little bit, get another dub. I have us sitting at 5-1 going into week 8. Week 8, we're at home playing the Saints. I do have us dropping that game. I feel like the Saints are a sneaky team, right?
Yeah.
Like they have talent, they have veterans all across that roster. So I really it'll be interesting to see how their season shapes out because I could see them being all the way from a team picking in the top 10 in the draft and potentially winning the division. So that'll be interesting. Then after the Saints, we go on the road to Cleveland. Another game I have circled, right? We talk about one of the best defenses in the league, right? With
Yeah.
one of the best players in the league, Miles Garrett. That secondary is no joke. The jury's still out on Deshaun Watson, both literally and figuratively. So we'll see. Um, we'll see with that. Um, then after that, we come home to play we play the Titans
Hmm.
week 10. I do have us dropping that game. Um to be honest, for some reason, and we'll see if under this new leadership how that is. But for whatever reason, the Chargers just struggle against the Titans.
Hmm.
It seems like every single time we match up with them, it's just a fucking bloodbath. So, I have us dropping that game. Uh, then another game I have circled, man. At home, week 11, we finally get the game, right? Well, no, this will be their second. Wait,
Second time, yeah.
yeah,
In a
no.
while,
Well,
right?
I don't think they've ever played each other. Now that I'm thinking about it, because I think the first time we played the Bengals, I think Tyrod Taylor was playing. I think that was
Oh
Joe
yeah,
Burrow's
you're
first.
right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're right.
Let
Yeah,
me check that real quick. Fact check. Fact check.
I think you're right.
Let me see. 21. Nope. Nope, I lied. No. Okay, so this would be the third time that Joe Burrow has played the Chargers, but this would be the
Mm.
second time that he plays Justin Herbert. The last time we played was December 5th, 2021. I know I was tripping. The Chargers won 41-22. It was a blowout. Herbert had 300 yards, three touchdowns. Joe Burrow had 300 yards, 2 interceptions. Right, so Um, like I said, we are at home, so I do have us winning that game. Again, another game I have circled. You got
Ooh.
two big time matchups in terms of, especially once we start getting to this. We're week 11, so once we start getting to these later seasons, later games, this is really fighting for playoff spots, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
this is where
Mm-hmm.
teams figure out, like, number one, what is our identity, and are we a playoff team? Are we pushing for the playoffs, or are we getting ready for the draft, right? So I do have us getting that game. All right, so then on Monday Night Football at home, Week 12. Funny enough, another game I have circled. Right, it's a lot of these AFC games that are going to matter. Um, we're at home playing the Baltimore Ravens. It's the Hardball Bowl.
Yep.
Right, big brother, little brother, both playing again. I believe last time they played was in the Super Bowl. So
Yeah.
listen, I do have us dropping this game. The Baltimore Ravens are also a team that we notoriously struggle against.
Yeah.
Um, so I believe going into week 13, we are sitting at, what's that? 7-4. Going
Mm-hmm.
into week 13, we are sitting at 7-4. Um, right. Is my math off? Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. I didn't go to college. So 7-4 going into week 13. We're on the road. We playing in the ATL, right? We got Kirk O'Bands on the other side of the field. I do believe we win that game. We played I believe we played them last season. We put belt to ass. So
Mm-hmm.
then we got week 14 against the Evil Empire. I have us splitting, right? Again,
Okay.
he was losing at home. I have us winning on the road.
All right.
Um, I feel like we need to win this game. We have to, I'll speak on that a little later. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So then week 15, we come back home. We're playing Baker Mayfield and them boys. I believe we do win that game. Week 16, second matchup with the Ponies. We again put belt the ass. We get the sweep. Um, week 17, we're going to Foxborough to play the Patriots. When you play in a rookie QB, you have to get that win, especially if you
Okay.
consider yourself a playoff team.
Mm-hmm.
So at this point, I believe we're pushing for a playoff spot. And then week 18, I do have us dropping this game on the
Mm.
road in Vegas. For the Raiders, this would be their Super Bowl, right? Because they'll have nothing to play for, right? So they'll probably win by 2 points and act like they're posting on Twitter, act like they did some shit. Fuck y'all. So at the end of the season, right? I feel as though we're sitting at 12-5.
Okay.
We'll see if that's good enough to win our division, right?
Mm.
Because obviously the Kansas City Chiefs are out there. So I can very easily see us being like a 10+ win team and being in the wild card, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man, I definitely feel like our floor, I would say about 9 wins.
Mm-hmm.
Ceiling is about 12. So
Uh-huh.
we'll
Yeah.
see.
Yeah, I think like my main question headed for the Chargers is that, like, not necessarily schedule wise, but like, because you guys got new coaching staff, you got a whole different system around Herbert, right? What do you think, and what do you think, and how? What do you think is going to happen, and what do you hope to happen for Herbert? In the sense that, like, I think, like, from my perspective, it's like I feel like he will. I think his stats will take a step back, but it's for the betterment of the team. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Right?
100%.
But and like I feel like by him obviously not showing as much stats as he would, from back then, I feel like the media's perception is like, oh, Herbert is not that good for QB, but in actuality, he's doing what he's told to do, being in the system, or it's like nowadays the term system quarterback is just getting thrown out there like that's a bad thing. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Right? In
Every
which
quarterback is, to a certain extent, a system quarterback, right?
that's what I'm
Like,
saying.
you look throughout the history of the NFL, you can't give me one quarterback that can work at every single system.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? Like, every quarterback, and even Tom Brady, right? If you put him in the fucking Baltimore Ravens playbook, you come on now. You feel me? Like,
Mm-hmm.
there's just that, and that's the job of your head coach, of your offensive coordinator, is to build a system catered to your quarterback. Right? That is so yes, essentially every single quarterback is a system quarterback. So I need people to stop using these catch-all terms and throw like system quarterback, game manager, all this bullshit. And to
Mm-hmm.
to 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 that point, I do believe Herb is gonna be more of a game manager this season. Um,
Mm.
and yeah, I do agree. It's like a double-edged sword, right? Because Bird's been putting up these stats for the last I don't know how many seasons, and we haven't won a lot of games. So there's people
Mm-hmm.
saying they're empty stats. They're not coming with wins or whatever. But now I can see, if not this season, at least under the era of John Harbaugh, I mean, Jim Harbaugh, winning games. And yes, I do believe his stats are going to take a step back because the system is just different. You're more reliant on the run game, you're more reliant on your defense, right? So um, it'll kind of be that double-edged sword where now people aren't seeing him put up, 400 yards and 4 touchdowns, but we're winning. So
Yeah.
people might be able to spin it and be like, oh well, they're winning because he's not doing all this or whatever. And to be honest, that's true, right? You don't want to be too reliant on your quarterback. I don't care how great he is, right?
Yeah.
Even Tom Brady, right? He's had teams that where his defense has done a lot of the job, right? It's two sides of the ball. You have to play
Mm-hmm.
complementary football. Same thing, what we saw with the Chiefs last season, where they weren't this high flying offense and they still won
Mm-mm.
a championship, right? So
Exactly.
you can't take that away from them, right? Because no matter what, the great teams find ways to win, and that's
Mm-hmm.
not to say that that's like that. A Patrick Mahomes can't light you up for 500 yards. We know that, right?
Yeah.
But he doesn't have to.
Yeah.
Most of these guys, if you talk to any of these quarterbacks, especially the good ones, they would much rather hand the ball off 30 times and win the
Yes.
game than have to throw the ball 50 times. You feel what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
I definitely feel like that is definitely Herb's mentality where, listen, I don't care what we do as long as we win, right? So,
Yeah.
and I feel like if this era goes the way I think it will, Chargers fans, we could look back on these past years and really look at it as a blessing in disguise because Herbert had to be Superman so often.
Mm-hmm.
Now in this new era, when there is a fourth quarter situation where Herb, we need you to carry us to this win. Like to be at least for me, if 10 has the ball, I'm not stressing because I know
Mm-hmm.
he's gonna make something happen. Right? I've seen it too many times, and I know the type of leader and player he really is to where man, fuck those quarterback rankings and all this, man. I know my guy, I know how I feel about my guy. So
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I definitely feel like that'll be something to be seen in terms of stats compared to wins.
Yeah, and I think it's a perfect segue when you're talking about success and everything, right? And that leads up to the topic of, what do you define a successful season for the Chargers? Like, do you when you is it a must to be a playoffs? Is it a record thing, or is like, what do
Mhm.
you think? Or like seeding between the playoffs does it
I
matter?
think, to be honest, bro, I don't think it. I don't think any of that matters.
Mm,
Because even if we don't make the playoffs, I feel like that's kind of expected, right? When you're
mm,
completely changing your entire staff,
mm.
right, from top to bottom. The only thing we didn't change was I believe our like I'm gonna say our DB coach. It might be the same guy, but like pretty much everybody is different. New system. A lot of new players, so it's not very often that teams kind of make that turnaround very fast. So if it does take us about a year or so to kind of get our legs up under us, I get it, right? And I give these guys that grace for this season. So that's not obviously if we do make the playoffs, that's a definite success. But what's more important to me is that it's gonna sound sad, but that we don't get swept by Kansas City. Like if we're able to win a game
uh,
against Kansas City, I feel as though, at least for me personally, this season is a success because right now,
mm,
okay, and listen, any Chiefs fan that is watching this, they can attest to this. If they have to say one team in the division that stresses them out the most, it's us. And that's
yep.
even with them having, a crazy good winning record against us. It's almost every
Mm,
single game. It's a dogfight. They have to fight for every single yard, every single win, right? So, at
mm,
least from my perspective, I'm stressed out too, but my team 9 times out of 10 loses, so it's like it's double fold. But if we're able
Hmm.
to knock them off, this season, I feel as though that's a success for me. It kind of going along with that would be a failure for me.
Mm.
Let me see, what would be a failure? I feel like a failure, besides obviously not beating them at least once, would be like situationally, right? Because
Mm.
we saw under Brandon Staley, we lost a lot of games due to his lack of situational awareness, whether it's making
Mm.
certain decisions or right. So I feel like if we can not only stay healthy, right, because that's a big thing.
Yeah.
We can not only, for the most part, stay healthy, and show better awareness situationally. I feel like that bodes well for our future, and I feel as though anything less than that would be a failure.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. I think from the Chargers' perspective, I think when people say it's a must to make playoffs, I don't think that's necessarily the case. All I want to see is development between players. Like, for example, Ladd McConkey. I want, well, from what I see, his success is throughout the whole season. I know it is a run heavy system, but there is a true number one receiver developed in the sense that, like, or at
Mm-hmm.
least like not fully developed, but you can see flashes, right? I want to see. I think that would be a success rather than a playoff berth. Just because, like, stuff like this where it's kind of like a mini rebuild. It's not a full
Mm-hmm.
rebuild; it's a mini rebuild where you're trying just to retool in a sense, right? And I think things don't happen overnight. Things doesn't
Yes.
happen over a couple games or even a season, right? Sometimes it takes a little bit, right? You just gotta, we're in Philly. You just gotta trust the process, right? But that's true. It's fair,
Mm-hmm.
right? But I think because his name is Jim Harbaugh, and the title that comes with his name, and success he's had, right? I think day one, I think no matter what, I think he does have to make playoffs. I think that has to be uh, a must at least. Like, I think even squeezing in as a 7 seed, at least you're there.
Mm-hmm.
And like Kyle always say, as long as you get a ticket to the dance, anything can happen.
You think it
Right?
happened?
We've seen upsets before where the Cowboys lost to the Packers. Blowout. Who knows? Maybe the Chargers can beat that Packers team. You never know, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, but switching that over to, like, my
Wait,
Niners.
before
Oh,
you transition,
okay.
if the Chargers are able to squeak into the playoffs and somehow beat the Chiefs in the playoffs, that will be our Super Bowl. I will be complete. I will be complete. I will not need to see this team win a championship. That will mean everything in the world to me. When I am fucking 85, I will be telling my grandkids about how we beat the Chiefs in the playoffs. So, you know, this what did Jalen Brown famously say? Don't let us get one.
Yeah, for sure. I think if the Chargers are able to do that, I think you do the whole NFL a solid. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Right? But leading up, my Niners, my squad, Niners Empire, faithful. You know what I'm saying? What can I say? Like, there's no other way. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. Super Bowl or bust, boys. Super Bowl or bust, boys. Like, literally, it's been like that the past few seasons,
Mm-hmm.
right? I don't like, I know we've had great seasons. I know, right? Look, I'm grateful for having great seasons and making deep playoff pushes, right? But the heartbreak that I get every single time, I please make it stop. Please. Please. Like, every time I hear the quest for six, oh, we back, we back. No, I need to see it actually happen, boys. Please. Like, over this past offseason, I had to do some reflective thinking and everything, been going to church a little bit more, just praying, you know, praying that did you guys just, like, help us one more year and just, like, let us win finally, because at the end of the day, I feel like as a fan, especially if you guys were any other people were in my position, right? I just want to see one in my lifetime that we win, at least one, right? That'll just make me happy. But yeah, besides the Super Bowl or bust thing, uh, a successful season would be if Purdy takes the next step. And
Mm-hmm.
what is that next step? Well, it's kind of hard to play better than the season he had, where he was efficient all across the board.
Mhm.
I think he might have broke a couple of records in efficiency, right? So I know, but yeah, I think a step towards a step above that is just basically maybe um I don't know. I don't know. It's like maybe just stats wise, I guess. I don't
Mhm.
know because it's very hard to say, oh, play better than last season when that's probably the best season that a quarterback could ever have. If being well efficiency wise,
Mhm.
right? But I think if he's able to, I guess like uh I guess make certain reads in a sense like he loves to throw over the middle a lot, right?
Mhm.
But this is something that he's been working on off season where he's finally has an off season where he can work on his game, and he's been working on on his arm. So
Yeah.
my thing is that he's already good at deep passing, right? But if
Mhm.
he's able to just amp up that arm strength, and who knows? We have a couple guys where we can get people deep. We signed Jacob Cowing, right? Ricky Peterson. He's not really a burner, but he has wheels on him,
Yeah.
right? And obviously you got Brandon Ayuk, where I hope he stays. That's another that's a topic for another day, right? I
Mhm.
know that we'll have him at least for this season. But yeah, I think development of Purdy that's a close second to the Super
Mhm.
Bowl or bust thing. And after that, I want to see, and it's tough. It's tough for me to say, but I want us to see how um what's his name how that what's I forgot his name, but I want to see how that running back does, Isaac Garendo, mainly because that I love CMC. I love him,
Mhm.
right? But nowadays it's like you can't just always count on him, especially when he's getting up there in age where he's getting all these touches, right? I think it'll be very nice to see if somebody he just is good enough to take carries away from him,
Mhm.
right? And I think that's something that Kyle Shannon needs to have trust a little bit more on. But that's the thing. He has this thing where he's known for the doghouse, right? The doghouse in the sense of like he doesn't really play rookies like that. They have to earn it, right? If you don't impress him real early, you're not going to get touches at all. I'm telling you that. And Brandon Ayuk had to learn that the hard way. He had to learn that the hard way. Even after a great rookie season, he was pretty much benched or not getting targets like I think 5 games straight in
Yep.
the season after that, right? But yeah, I think development of players just in general, right? But more importantly, just Purdy. But yeah, I think Super Bowl or bust. That's the only way you got to look at it because at the end of the day, I don't want to be looked at as a team where we have great players. It's just that we never got it done. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? You know, to to have that feat of never getting it done, knowing that you have a Super Bowl caliber squad, it just hurts. It just hurts, man. We talk about players where they could be all decade in a sense, right? I think in the future, but when it's all said and done, I think Fred Warner is an all decade linebacker. I think Kittle by the end of this decade, he could be all decade if when Kelsey eventually retires. And who knows? Maybe CMC could be all decade when it's all said and done, right? Depending how they go on with their careers, right? So to have a lot of all these guys, to have all these superstars, to have this team right now, especially when you have to pay Purdy next offseason, this is the time. This is the time to win right now, right? Where if you win right now and then we come in the next offseason, everything will be all right because you
Yep.
got the chip. You got what you got the ultimate prize, the ultimate goal for every NFL season, right?
Mhm.
Is to win that Super Bowl.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. It's kind of from an not opposing, but like a different fan perspective. Like it's a gift and a curse to have that luxury, right? Of
Yeah.
saying, listen, it's Super Bowl bust, right? Because it's a lot of struggle that you have to go through to get to that point. Um, but I 100% agree. I feel like the 49ers have been so close for so long that like they have to they have to capitalize on
Mm-hmm.
this window that they have because it does not last forever. Especially with not winning. Um, as we've seen in NFL history, like it's just like that. That things can take a turn. And I agree. Like you kind of want to get this window because, at least in my opinion, for good quarterbacks, you get about two windows, right? You get the window when they're on the rookie deal. Then you get at some point later on when they're kind of more of a veteran. So if not now, it might be a little bit right for to kind of rebuild that roster. I definitely feel as though you guys have the leadership to make it through that, right? In terms of you have your head coach solidified, you have your GM solidified. Those guys have been making amazing moves and been doing amazing things since they matched up. So I definitely do have faith in that tandem. But yeah, I feel like it's you guys and a lot of other teams that kind of are in that same tier of listen, we have to win one, right? We have to lift that Lombardi, and again, it's a lot of pressure, going into the season because I'm sure all these players know it, right? Like we have to win one. Anything
Yeah.
less is a failure. So it is a lot of pressure to play with. But I do think that you have a lot of those guys. I mean, a lot of those guys have been to two Super Bowls now, right? So they
Yeah.
know what it takes to win. In January. So
I guess
we'll
apparently
see.
not if you don't get the big one, huh?
Well,
It's, it's, it's a sad reality.
one could say that the 49ers are the NFL Celtics. So
Let's not get into that.
sorry. But yeah, and in terms of like key matchups, you know, I have some games I do have circled that I might or I may or may not be going to. I told myself, because I always get this right, like, how the hell do you live on the East Coast but your favorite team is the Chargers? And it sounds stupid, but like for to be honest, what drew my attention is really the uniforms. Like listen, the powder blues just go hard, bro. Like they really just do. But on top of that, Keenan Allen has been my favorite, player for quite some time now. Even though he's in Chicago now. Obviously LT, Junior Seau, Antonio Gates, Phillip Rivers, like, you know this. Like I've been, a Phillip Rivers truther for a while. So
Yeah.
it's just one of those things where people always say like well, have you been to a game? Have you been to LA? I'm like, no, I've never been. And it's like, you gotta go out there. So I'm definitely looking at going to at least two games. I told myself, all right, let's go to at least two games this season. Couple games I have circled that I might go to. I might go to week one against the Raiders. I might go to the Bengals game. I might go to the Ravens game, and I might go to the Steelers game because the Steelers game is the closest, in terms of drive time to me.
Mhm.
Without I wouldn't have to get a plane for that. Um, I was gonna go to. It's crazy. I was like really gearing up to go to the Jets game last year. And then Aaron Rodgers died in like 3 seconds on the field, so I was like, "Fuck! Well, I'm not going to that game anymore. I'm not about to spend hundreds of dollars to go watch Zach Wilson." Um,
Mhm.
so hopefully all these teams are healthy and playing well because they're regardless of whether we win or lose, and hopefully the games I go to we win. They should be really good, big time matchups.
Yeah, for sure. And I guess like for me, I also plan to like try to make out for like maybe one game at least, right? And I guess like out of the games that we have listed here, as far as like the one closer here that I might be debating going to is a Week 13 game, Sunday Night Football at Buffalo. Buffalo's in New York, so I might have to take a drive up there just like just see what's up. That'd be pretty cool. But I think the main matchups that I have keyed on is obviously I talked about it, the Lions game for sure. The Jets game because that they I don't know, they have such a good, like, we know how good they are. It's just that we always knew they just needed that QB,
Mm.
right? And sadly they let a good QB go, Zach Wilson. You know what I'm saying, going to the Broncos. But I think Aaron Rodgers, we'll finally actually see if he doesn't get hurt after the first couple plays. It's funny enough, the person who sacked him and he basically got injured on that play is on our team now. It's kind of funny. So, um,
Week one
so
PTSD for Aaron Rodgers, man.
yeah. So it's going to be interesting. Jets. the Lions, and I think the last game I have circled here, I didn't circle the Chiefs game because to be honest, I don't care if we win or lose because it's not, like I said, it's not gonna heal what they've done to me. But the other game I had circled was the Bears game, just because I think they could be a very exciting team, especially if they put it together. Things could get a little spicy in the NFC North, man. Where you got the Lions up and coming, the Packers up and coming, right, and now the Bears, and who knows, man? Oh, well, the Vikings, JJ McCarthy. If you love them, yeah. There you go again, Kai. There you go again.
Listen, man, my heart goes out to Justin Jefferson, man. You know what I mean? He goes
Hey,
from
man.
Rico Bands to discount Zach Wilson. So have
Hey, man. All I'm saying, if he ever asks for a trade, I don't know how we're gonna fucking do it, but Brandon Ayuk for Justin Jefferson, who knows?
Well,
You know.
listen. If this is any consolation to your continued shitty quarterback play, you're probably going to get like $100 million. So you know what I mean. Listen,
Yeah.
which one will I take? You know what I'm saying? So, um, but yeah, you know what I'm saying. Like again, the last time we posted, our football video, you guys went crazy.
Yeah.
You
It's
know,
been a while.
apparently we have a lot of watchers from the West Coast, both from representing
Hmm.
my team and your team. We saw you guys
Yeah.
commenting.
Uh huh.
Again, as I always say, it puts the batter in our back. It gives us that motivation of like, all right, this I might have had a long shift at work, or you might have had a lot of projects and schoolwork, in your
Yeah.
job. So but we still find ways to pump these videos out and get them out to you guys because we know that
Yes, sir.
you guys like watching them. So hearing our thoughts. So we want to hear your guys' thoughts, right? So
Hmm.
again, make sure you guys comment down
Comment
below.
down.
Hopefully this video can match that other video, right?
Yeah.
Put you guys up to the challenge. That video
Hmm.
is I believe we're at 160.
Yeah.
Crazy, 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 crazy. Um, but yeah, man, we'll have all our social media links linked down below in the description. Make sure you guys like, comment, share, subscribe, and on that note, it's been a No Bullshit podcast, man. We'll catch you on the next one.
Yes, sir. Peace out.
Peace.